Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being on this call tonight. Thank you for volunteering too. My name is Nick Stark. I'm Executive Director of the Oregon Freedom Coalition. I'm working with Representative Deal, Chief Petitioner on this referendum, and working with Jody Fleck, our Grassroots Director, to kind of coordinate this effort with No Tax Oregon, which is a project of the Right to Vote on the Gas Tax PAC. Super glad to have you all on. I know I've seen some of you today just out on the streets here in Josephine County, where we've got petitions circulating already. I know I signed earlier. I know Representative Deal signed. I'm not sure if Jody signed yet. She's been orchestrating a ton of things behind the scenes, making sure that
She just orders the circulation petitions. She doesn't hasn't
exactly.
seen
There
one
you
in
go.
paper yet.
Yeah.
Going to
Well,
follow the rules and not print any petitions at home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So just for kind of a basic of how this call is going to work tonight, we are going to go ahead and give you guys an update on just where everything is at, kind of where we've gotten to this week, the status of getting the sheets out to you, signage, all that sort of thing. Like I said, we are full go. The other piece is that we will be giving you some do's and some don'ts, some instructions, all sorts of things. So that will be on the screen in a moment here. But also, if you want to go back and look at something, this is going to be recorded and put on the No Tax Oregon YouTube page, hopefully by the end of this evening. Depends on whether or not I can actually get it up in time. But it will be available tomorrow at the very latest. So with that, if you have any questions, feel free to put them into the Q&A box. We'll try to get to them. I should be able to see them. And yeah, let's get rocking and rolling. I'm going to hand it over to Representative Deal here. I know there's a possibility that Senator Bruce Starr, one of the other chief petitioners, joins us tonight. If that's the case, we'll just go ahead and we'll interrupt Representative Deal for someone in a higher office of senator. But with that,
it's another office.
Yeah, sure.
Just on the other side of the building.
Exactly. So, Representative Deal, I'm going to hand it over to you, and we can get rocking and rolling here.
You bet. All right, Nick. Well, thanks. And it's great to be here. Thank you for all the volunteers that are game to participate in this crazy thing we're doing. But we're going to win. We're going to do this. So, Nick, go ahead and go to the next slide.
Perfect.
So here's our big goal: 100,000 signatures in 30 days. You know, I've been telling people this is a sprint, not a marathon. People who have experience with gathering signatures, this is a different gig that we're doing here. We want to talk and think in terms of days, not weeks or months. We have to if we're going to get this thing done. And it's really important that we have a timely return of all the completed sheets to your petition captain. So, you know, you can't, if you get sheets, you can't hold on to them. We want to know every day, if every day, ideally, we want to know how many signatures that we have gathered. So as frequently as you can return sheets to the petition captain, they will collect those and send them off to Jody, the better. And I'm going to tell you, we are making history in Oregon. The power players do not think we can pull this off. They're convinced that a grassroots effort will fail and we can't get organized and we're not going to act quickly enough and we won't stand together. And they are wrong. We're proving it. We're proving it already. This is our moment. Stepping up now, I think we're going to show that Oregonians are paying attention. They expect a government that serves the people, not the special interests. So let's make history. Let's get this done. This will be set the trend for tax and fee policy and discussion for years to come. That's how significant this is. So I'm really excited to work with you, and we're going to make this happen. So go ahead, Nick. And as questions come up, Nick and Jody, if you see them, please let me know. So first off, let's talk about the referendum itself. What's in the referendum? I want to make sure all the volunteers are clear so they can communicate it with voters. So first off, Senator Starr and I, and then Jason Williams of the Taxpayers Association of Oregon, we are the chief petitioners for this. We, for strategic reasons and practical reasons, we have narrowly focused the referendum to four elements of House Bill 3991, which is the governor's transportation tax and fee bill. Number one, the 15% gas tax increase, doubling the title fees, in many cases, doubling of the registration fees, and doubling of the statewide payroll transit tax. Those four elements. We are not touching the other elements of the bill. We're trying to keep it really simple and focus on the pieces of the bill that were most egregious to the vast majority of Oregonians. We need just over 78,000 signatures. We want to collect many more than that to make sure we don't have rejects. And our hard deadline is December 30th. But I tell you what, I want to enjoy my Thanksgiving and my Christmas. I want to get this thing done. And there's no reason we can't get it done earlier than that. Go ahead, Nick. So here's some frequently asked questions. And volunteers, the information I'm sharing with you now has been printed out for you in color flyers for you to have with you when you are circulating this petition. So you always have these handy short sheet of what we're doing, frequently asked questions. There's also a basic facts flyer that are printed out in color, and you can get those from your petition captain. But we get asked, why didn't we refer the entire bill? And really, we wanted to focus the referral on the portions that have the strongest and broadest opposition from voters: gas tax, the fees, and the statewide payroll transit tax. And there's some parts of this bill that are actually positive, and we didn't want to undo them. For example, the bill repeals existing law that required tolling. That was put in 2017. The bill repeals that law. I think that's a good thing. And it updates the weight mile tax tables to ensure fair and equitable pay rates for both light and heavy users of vehicles. And that's something that truckers have fought for years. That's a good thing. We don't want to pull that out. It also includes some audit and oversight and governance reforms that are generally constructive. I don't think they go far enough. I mean, if you want real accountability and oversight, we need to change leadership in this state. But it is a step in the right direction. What happens if once enough signatures are gathered? So once the Secretary of State verifies the required number of signatures, my understanding is that the new taxes and fees are suspended until Oregonians get to weigh in on a vote. And they'll go to the ballot box and they'll say, yes, I want to raise my taxes, or no. So I'm looking for a no vote when this shows up at the ballot. But the people of Oregon will have the final say. And by getting these signatures gathered, these portions of the bill effectively go on hold. One important thing that we need to explain to voters and talk to them about, the governor has said that without these new taxes and fees, maintenance crews will be laid off and roads won't be plowed. And is that true? Well, it's not true. The governor has painted a false choice for Oregonians. First off, nobody wants that outcome. We're not here saying we don't need to maintain our roads. We absolutely know we want to maintain our roads. The difference is we want to prioritize the maintaining of our roads. And this is where we struggle with the governor and the decisions that have been made. So she's presenting a false choice. And we know that by reprioritizing spending within ODOT and allowing more of the existing funds to go toward maintenance, Oregon's roads can be properly maintained without raising taxes or fees. We want to have the ODOT priorities aligned with the priorities of the Oregon people. That's all we want. And by doing this referendum, we're basically, bringing the governor and the legislative leadership back to the table to have this discussion and do what we know we need to do. All right, let's keep on going here. So what you're seeing here is is the actual text of the referral. I know it's small print. I wasn't planning on reading it here. I just want to show you what it looks like. Each of you will have a copy of this. It is important that you have this with you when you are circulating petitions because this has to be available to the voter to see if they want to see it. They don't have to read it. It just has to be made available to them. So you have to have this on you at all times. It looks like a regular bill. If anybody has read legislation, there's a lot of gobbledygook on here. Um, but it's written just like House Bill 3991, but all they did is put the exact sections as they were written in the bill, but those exact sections that we want to refer to voters. And if you look in here, you can see we've got the fee taxes and registration and title fees. Several elements of those sections are here. And then the transit section, which is the statewide payroll transit tax. The way to read this, you can see there's some text that it's in bold. For example, it changes the rate of gas tax. I don't know if you can't see my mouse, but in section 17 here, it goes from 34 cents to 46. The 34 cents is in italics. That means it's deleted. And the 46 cents is in bold. That means it's added. That is how our bills are written in the legislature. So it's basically saying, do you want to change the law, which currently says 36 cents? Do you want to change it to 46 cents? Up there is the passenger vehicle, and those are the registration fees. Same idea there. So it should be pretty simple to explain to voters. Yes, we're changing this cost to this, or this fee to this fee. So hopefully that's straightforward for you to explain. Okay, let's go ahead, Nick. Here is all your scribble stayed on there. Here is a copy of the actual signature or the signature sheet. We're using the 10-liner. Again, there's a bunch of gobbledygook. I'd love to see up here in the top, Nick, circle where it says relating to. I'd love to see a plain English up above the signatures, Nick, circle that relating to transportation. All that stuff. I'd love to see that in plain English, what this referendum does. But the law says that we must include the relating to clause from the bill with a referral. So again, I get gobbledygook. It doesn't mean anything. But I'll tell you, so far, it has not been an issue to explain what this referendum does. I was gathering signatures today, and people just walked up. Is this how I stop the gas tax? If I say yep, and they sign it. We'll go through. You can see this the signature. You want a signature as the voter signs their ballot. As they sign their ballot. That's the signature we want. Obviously, the date, the printed name, and their residence or their mailing address is fine. Whichever one your ballot comes to, because we're comparing this record with what the Secretary of State has for records. Down below is where you sign as a circulator. Your job is to witness people signing this sheet and then to sign it at the bottom after you're done with the witnessing. And that's indicating that you witnessed those signatures and did your job. So you fill that out once the sheet is closed. Another note on the right, you'll see sheet number. Do not fill that out. That's something that our grassroots director, Jody, will do when she collects all the sheets. So please do not just leave that blank. Do not fill it out. Wonderful handwriting, Nick. Very
Thanks.
proud of you.
I try my best. Still better than how I actually write, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay. Now we're going to look at the back side of the
Right.
sheet. Again, I don't intend for you to read all this. I just want you to get a feel for what it looks like. This is on the back side of each one of those petition sheets. It has instructions for circulators and how to fill it out. It also has a mailing address So on every sheet, we show where these sheets need to be mailed to. You'll want to return them to the circulate, your petition captain, and the petition captain will turn them in to Jody. And up at the top is this digest. Again, it does a lousy job of describing the referendum. It describes a summary of the entire bill. But again, that's what we have to put in here by law. So it's a little bit misleading, but that's what we're stuck with. Okay. Where are we at as of 6:18 p.m.? You know what? We're actually ahead of plan. We did not expect a couple of things. We did not expect that the governor would sign the bill in the dark of night on Friday. And so we were able to work with the Secretary of State on Monday and then again on Wednesday. We also thought it might take longer than 2 days with the Secretary of State, but I'll tell you, they were very responsive and timely and worked great with us. And we prepped in advance before go time. So they knew what was happening, what we were bringing. And I want to thank them for doing their job professionally and getting this to us and helping answer all the questions that we had. So right now we have, as of the end of the day on Wednesday, we had approval to print petitions. So we started printing them Thursday morning. And that's what Jody spent most of the day on, is calling printers and paying them and getting this done. So before we even did that, we had all signs and the color volunteer flyers. They've been delivered or are available for pickup to every petition captain. We did that in advance. All the petition sheets and referendum copies have been ordered for the entire state. Some counties, a lot of counties have already received them. Some counties have already started gathering signatures. Signing locations have been, we have petition captains identifying those. I know a lot of the volunteers on this call are working with them. Those locations we hope to have on the website by the end of the evening here. Right, Nick?
No, don't make that promise by the
Okay,
weekend.
no, we won't make the promise, but he's hard at work. And thank you for the petition captains that are feeding that information to us on a regular basis using the Google Sheet setup that Jody created. And as I said, signatures are being collected in many locations already, which is a great sign. We have people calling, chomping at the bit. They want to sign this. They're ready to sign it. All right, go ahead, Nick. So let's talk how to circulate. Now, for the professional circulators here, people who've been doing this for a long time, this is probably old hat, but I think we have a lot of people on this call. We have 773 people on the call now. That's amazing. Some of you, this might be new to you. This might be the first time you've volunteered to circulate a petition. So thank you. Thank you for participating in the democratic process. I'm gonna step aside here and talk about, Oregon has a proud tradition in direct democracy that you are participating in today. We were one of the first states in the nation to implement a referendum and petition process in 1902. And from what I can tell, we were the first state in the country to refer a bill to the voters. That was in 1924, I think. Why do we have that? If you look back, why we have this in our Constitution, we do not trust politicians and we don't trust power players to do right by the voters. And this is one of the examples that shows when you have 94% of the testimony that is opposed to this bill and it goes through anyway. When you have polling like we do that shows 87% of voters agree with us that this should be on the ballot and they still do it anyway. So you are part of a proud tradition of direct democracy in Oregon. And it is when people talk about the Oregon way, this is absolutely part of the Oregon way and what we're part of and what we help pioneer. Okay, back to how you circulate. So petition sheets are going to be distributed to the petition captains. We're asking you don't make copies. There's a reason for this. When we got the approval for these petition sheets, I hand delivered a copy, a paper copy of what our sheet would look like, what weight paper it's on, what color paper it is. That's what the Secretary of State expects all the petitions to come back looking like. If you run it through a home printer and you got blue ink, or you run it through and the paper's cockeyed, or you copy and it's all faded, those sheets may not be counted. So not only are we not counting sheets, you've kind of taken away the right of that person who signed that and thought their signature would be counted. So we're asking you to work with your petition captains and get those petition sheets from them. You must have a copy, like I said before, the actual referendum. Petition captains will provide copies of that along with a referendum explainer, quick facts, and frequently asked questions sheets, so you have help on how to explain this to voters. Also, we make available, and you'll have access to it, a Google Docs folder that has these documents available to you, so you can print them at any time in case you need another copy for your own. The other thing that you should have when you talk to your petition captain is a signature goal. How many signatures are you going to gather, and when will you return those to the petition captain? It's very important. We want to know how many sheets are out there, who has them, and we want to know what their commitment is. I call it an upfront commitment. What's your upfront commitment to help us get over, to help make this a win? So I'm asking each of you to think about that and what you can do and what you can commit to. Okay. Go ahead to the next slide, Nick. So as a volunteer,
I'm trying my best to answer some questions in the chat room. So if I'm a bit behind, that's why.
Oh, okay. All right. And some of them we may get to here. But as a volunteer circulator, your job is to ask people if they'd like to sign a petition and to help get a measure on the ballot and to personally witness each and every signature. Each petition sheet is a legal document, so you want to treat it carefully, and you must be present when each person signs. You must sign and date the circulator certification at the bottom of every sheet. Even if you're the only one that signed the petition, you still have to sign as a circulator. Once you sign and date your certification, that sheet is closed, meaning no additional signatures can be added. Note, you don't have to be a registered voter to circulate a petition, but you do have to follow the rules. And the Secretary of State warns that, failing to follow the law can result in rejected sheets, or in case of intentional fraud, it's a felony conviction. But I don't think we have any fraudsters in here. We have honest Oregonians that are going to go out there and get these signatures. All right, go ahead, Nick. So some practical basics to make this process smooth. Use a clipboard and a pen with black or blue ink. I know the manual says you can use other stuff, but we want to be able to read this with a scanner and do 100% computer authentication of these voters, as well as a manual oversight of that. So this just ensures that the signatures are legible and can be scanned. Don't use markers or colored pens or pencils on these. They can bleed through and make the things unprintable. If somebody makes a mistake, just draw a single line through that line and have them sign on a new line. Don't erase, don't scribble. It's really easy. If a signer signs the wrong date, don't worry about that. It actually happens a lot. Somebody signs their birth date or whatever. The Secretary of State's confirmed that the wrong date alone won't invalidate a signature. If a signer, keep your sheets secure at all times. I carry large manila envelopes around with me. Keep them in a backpack. So as I close one and I sign as a circulator, I pull that sheet off the clipboard. and I put it in my manila envelope. We've heard stories of these signatures, these petition sheets being stolen. That'd get you in a lot of legal trouble, but obviously we don't want to get our petition stolen. It won't get you in legal trouble. It'll get the thief in legal trouble. And you never want to leave the petition sheets unattended. Having someone sign without you present is a violation of law. Also note, you don't need to fill out every line. If you're done for the day, just sign and date the certification and turn in the sheet, even if it has a few open lines. Go ahead, Nick. So this may sound complicated, but we make it really easy. Who can sign and what to check? So only active registered Oregon voters may sign. And for statewide petitions like this, any registered voter can sign anywhere in the state. If I live in Lynn County and I happen to be in Deschutes County, I can sign the petition over there. It does not matter. You want them to sign first and then date, name, and address, and you want the voters to use the same signature that they used on the ballot. They can fill in their home or their mailing address. The Secretary of State should have both. Think of it as what address do your ballots come to? And definitely never fill any part of this out for them. So here's the thing. If someone's not sure if they're registered or they've received, just ask them if they received a ballot recently. That is usually a really good indicator. That's the easy way. We also have a voter verification app that'll run on your phone. And if you want to use that, it's very fast. I've used it. You enter a voter's name and it'll pop up and tell you if they're active or inactive. And you can even check a box that lets us know that voter signed. But you can ask your petition captain for details on how to get that app and get the login credentials. If they're not registered, direct them to My Vote Oregon and they can register online. And as soon as they submit and it's accepted online, we have been assured they can sign the petition immediately after registering. But ultimately, if you're not sure if they're registered or not, have them sign the petition. We're doing a 100% audit of all sheets before submission. We're not worried about it. It's good to ask, but if they're not sure, go ahead and let them sign. Okay, Nick. So how to provide, oh, sorry, I skipped one. That's duplicated there, Nick.
Is it
Oh, I see.
duplicated or is it?
I
I
should
think
have
it's
skipped
part
forward.
two.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, sorry about
I
that.
see what we did now. Yep. We already covered these points. Thank you.
Great.
So how to provide and explain the petition. You always have to have the full text of the petition, that document I showed you that says House Bill 3991. You always have to have that available just in case somebody asks to read it. They don't have to read it, but it needs to be available. You're encouraged to explain the petition in plain language, and the color flyers we've given you should help you do that very easily. You're trying to explain what it does, why we're doing it, and what happens if it qualifies on the ballot. Keep it factual and focused. Don't make promises or guesses. And stay on topic. Avoid unrelated political discussions or debates. You know what? There's people on this call. We've got Republicans, Democrats, Libertarians, Constitution Party, non-affiliated voters. We've got them all, which is amazing. This is a bipartisan effort. Please respect that when you're talking to voters. All right, where and how to circulate. Okay, so we can circulate in public spaces, sidewalks, parks, outside libraries, farmers markets, fairs, other community areas. We're allowed to do this. And part of the volunteer documentation, if you want to print it out, we didn't print it out for you, but if you want it, it's accessible. is a letter from Representative Kevin Mannix, who's also an attorney, and he makes it very clear what our constitutionally protected rights are. This is our expression of free speech. We have the right to do this on in public spaces. So we'll make that letter available to you. Some people choose to print that out and carry it with them, so they can show that if they're ever questioned. You can collect on private property. You just need to get permission first. That could be outside stores in a private parking lot. It could be walking through a business. Just get permission first. Common sense. Approach people politely with confidence and to the point. And we've given you some verbiage that you can use to explain this. And it's in our on the handouts. But what I found on this particular referendum, everybody knows about it. And you can say, hey, would you like to stop the gas tax? They say yes. Say, okay, sign here. And it's about that easy. If they say no, don't argue with them, just thank them and move on. And don't block entrances. Just be friendly, courteous, and professional. You're representing the campaign. And we want people to look back and go, this was a well-run campaign. No wonder they kicked butt and won. Okay, what to do with your completed sheets? Well, the first thing is remember to sign and date that circulator certification at the bottom. We cannot use it if you do not sign that at the bottom. Leave the sheet number blank. Just double check each line before turning it in that it looks like it's filled out. If a line was skipped, draw a line through it. You know, sometimes I've looked and hey, there's a person that forgot to put their address on it or something like that. If I know the name, I'm going to give them a call and go knock on their door and see if they can complete it. Keep your sheets flat, dry, and legible. We want them clean. Again, think of it as a legal document. Never leave those sheets on your clipboard. Turn them in promptly to your captain. We are in sprint mode here. All right. Next slide. And here's your short list of must-dos. And again, I'm repeating. It's sometimes it's good to repeat so it sinks in. Use a clipboard and a black or blue pen. Witness every signature. Keep a full copy of the petition text with you. Cross out mistakes cleanly. Get permission when on private property. Be polite, professional, and factual. Sign and date your certification when finished. And turn in those sheets quickly to your petition captain. We're almost done, and we'll end with a definitely do not do. Don't sign for anyone else. Don't let anyone else use your petition sheet after you've signed your certification. Don't alter, erase, or add anything once your certification is signed. Don't fill out the sheet number. Don't make your own copies. Don't offer money, gifts, or anything of value for signatures. Don't misrepresent what the petition does or make false statements. Don't pressure anyone to sign. And don't leave these sheets unattended. So I know we covered a lot, but it's also really simple what we're doing. And if you just stick to the basics, you're going to be great. And we're going to get this done in short order. So what I'd urge, and I'm really open to answer any questions people may have here, but make sure you know who your petition captain is, and they are there to help you get this job done. And also, I encourage people to review the Oregon Secretary of State Circulator Training Manual. You can just Google Oregon Circulator Training Manual, and it'll point you to that. We'll also make that document available in the volunteer folder. I'll go ahead and do that. So with that, let's win this thing. And again, reminder, we thought our first big day would be November 22nd and that we wouldn't be collecting signatures until maybe a day or two before then. We're ahead of schedule. Let's use this time wisely. I don't know if Gabe Bueller's on here, but there is some kind of a sports game going on in Portland. I forget the details. I think he's got 20 volunteers going to that game and going to gather petitions. I've told, Lane County, I think we have some Lane County folks on here. The last home game for the Ducks is November 22nd. What if we had all of our volunteers around that stadium at all the bus pickup locations? You'd probably double the county goal on one day of collecting signatures. This is well within a realm of possibility. Let's think days, not weeks.
Guys. Ed, I would challenge the Benton County folks to do the same with OSU, but we know that nobody goes to Beavers games anymore.
Hey, now I like the Beavers. Is there a down thumb? There might be coming up, Nick.
Oh, I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of those pretty soon here.
No, I don't know what the schedule is for the Ducks games, but the exact same thing can happen over there.
Yeah.
We need to look for those opportunities. We've been invited to home shows. We've got the Fair Expo going on in Albany right now. We gathered several hundred signatures at the Fair Expo just today. So we need to look for those events. And what we're finding is a lot of those events are very friendly to our petition because it's really not partisan. It is a bipartisan issue. So they're opening up their home shows to allow us to go gather signatures. A lot of businesses are allowing us to gather signatures in their businesses. So are there any questions, Nick, that people had?
There are 193 and counting questions.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm going to try to get through a good bulk of these.
Okay.
So for those of you who ask questions in the Q&A here, just know I'm going to try and keep it high level to some of the broader questions that we keep seeing recurring, and try to address some of those rather than some of the more nitty-gritty stuff. The first one I want to start with is, well, I want to answer. I saw there was can we get a copy of this presentation and will we have these materials available? The answer is yes. Yes. We'll send you a link to you and our 4,900 some odd other volunteers that we've got. Yeah. Hard to keep track. The numbers keep going higher and higher almost every day with folks volunteering.
Nick, that reminds me, we with the help of Marks in Time media company in Albany, we are putting together a circulator training video. It's a short, concise 10-minute video that covers the same material I just covered here, with some live shots of gathering petitions. So we expect that to be done hopefully by the middle of next week. We will let you know so you can share that. And it's a general purpose training video that we could use for any petitions in Oregon.
Yep. So with that, we will put that and several other materials that are important for our volunteers on a specific link. I believe the link is actually already up. I'm going to check this here, but I believe it's notaxor.com/volunteer. So let me confirm that before I continue.
What's that link have?
It has our first kickoff webinar on it right now, but this video will be embedded on that link, as well as some other materials, including our presentation, the link to the video that Ed was just talking about, and whatever other fun items that we can cook up to task me with in the next couple of days. Yeah, so that'll be available there. So one question I keep seeing is, how do I find my petition captain? Jody, I know that you have been, organizing the petition captains. We've got, last I checked, there was 64-ish. That may have increased or doubled, or I don't know. You're managing a lot of folks right now. Can you tell us how our good volunteers would know who their petition captain is?
Yeah, so we have about 65 captains across the state. And so what has happened is the volunteers flooded our portal signing up to volunteer. At the same time, I had to send the petitions to the print shop. And so I have a couple thousand volunteers to assign to their appropriate captains. So please be patient. Tomorrow's the day to get them onto the captain's list. And when I do that, I send out an email telling you who your captain is. So some of you on here tonight have asked that, and I've noticed that you have received that email. So you might check back shortly after you signed up, look and see if you have an email from grassroots@OregonFreedom.com, where I sent you an email telling you who your captain is. Our captains kind of got slammed at the same time because we got their signs to them. Today, a lot of them got their petitions. And so they kind of shifted from working with the volunteer list to actually handing out petitions and getting organized. So bear with us over the next couple days. We will find out who your captain is. You will watch for that email from grassroots@OregonFreedom.com. And then I will put out a special message to our captains, letting them know that you are waiting to hear from them.
Great. Well, one of the other ones I see in here, and this is kind of a common theme, is some of the single signer sheets and can we get those online? Can I sign online? That sort of thing. So I'll kind of just walk you guys through what has already happened, what's been put online, and where we can expect to go from here. Because I also see in the chat several questions of, hey, I already signed this, that sort of thing. To clarify, if you went to notaxor.com anywhere in the last 30 days or so, and you filled out the form at the top of the web page, that is not your signature on this petition. That is nobody's signature on this petition. That was simply a form to let us know that you were interested in signing eventually when the petition became available. It's now available, so we'll get you signed as soon as possible. But beyond that, for the actual signatures, the reason that we can't do it online is that it has to be what's called a wet signature. So it has to be your signature, pen to paper, signed on the line, and certified, all the process that we talked about, and then turned into the Secretary of State's office. One key piece is that we've been talking about these multi-signer sheets, the 10-line signature sheets, which you'll see when you start circulating. Those are intended to get larger groups of individuals, but there will be what is known as single signer sheets available at some point in the coming weeks. Not right away. We're pushing people to let's sign the 10 lines. What was that?
In the coming days.
Yeah. Well, I forget what time period it is currently. That's everything's been one whole long day for the last 30 days. But they will be available at some point soon here. And you will be able to download that, sign it, and mail it back to us. It will have instructions on how you do that on the website. It is key that you do not print a bunch of those out and go circulate those. That is, I believe that's illegal. Correct, Ed?
It is illegal.
Yeah.
It's meant for you to print out as an individual, sign it, and mail it back. You cannot circulate them.
Correct. So I can't print off 50, go down to my church on a Sunday and start collecting 50 signatures that way. That's illegal. If I'm going to do that, I'm going to have 5 signature sheets and, that sort of thing. So those can only be found through your petition captains. We talked through that. Make sure you get in contact with your petition captain. And that's how you'll be able to get the 10-line signature sheets to gather more than just your signature. One of the questions I saw come through, and maybe we can clarify this, is can the circulators sign their own petition sheet?
Yes,
as a signatory?
They can sign their own sheet, but they also have to sign as a circulator.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Indeed. I did not have another question queued up. Anything important that you think we can throw out there to the folks on the call?
There's a couple items that I'd like to cover here.
Yeah.
Once we became a real referendum, we'd filed the paperwork with the Secretary of State, uh, we had to change a few things. So you're going to see, we've been working with as No Tax Oregon since the very beginning, but now we have a new website called stopthagastax.com. So I know that might be confusing to people, but rest assured they're the same thing. We're one big happy family. If you go to stopthagastax.com and you scroll and you say you want to help with the grassroots thing, you're going to be directed to No Tax Oregon. So No Tax Oregon is the grassroots army of this effort. Stop the Gas Tax is the official PAC website. Think of it that way. And we're sharing resources, and there'll be some cross. If people go to donate on either page, it goes to the same donation link. Another thing you'll notice, and we've had some people reach out, hey, that PAC ID on the campaigns or on the signs, that's the wrong PAC ID number. The name is right to vote in the gas tax PAC, but the ID number is wrong. And that had to do with a situation with the Secretary of State where they approved our PAC, and then they decided that they made a mistake and they removed our PAC. Well, during that time, we ordered stuff. So what happened is those were printed on signs being printed in the future. We're gonna correct that, but just so people know that PAC ID changed, and we're not worried about it.
One thing that you mentioned websites a second ago, can you just real quickly tell everybody what the voter registration website is again, just so we have it?
Yeah, it's called My Oregon Vote. So if you go to if you just Google My Oregon Vote,
it should be a .gov account, correct, or address,
it is
correct?
It's with the Oregon Secretary of State. You want to go to that, and it takes you to sos.oregon.gov/voting. And that's where you can go and check your registration status, as well as register to vote.
Yeah.
And it's pretty browser friendly as well. It works.
Yeah. So that leads me kind of to my next question, which is how do we figure out kind of generally who is eligible to sign this and whatnot? I see a lot of questions. Do we have to check their ID?
No.
Do they have to live in the same county that I'm circulating in? What if they're not a legal citizen? Those sorts of things. To be clear, I know that's several different things. They have to be a legal resident of Oregon and a voting resident of Oregon. That implies a couple of things. One, that they're on our voter rolls, that they live in Oregon, and that hopefully, because they are registered. Now I know there's some discrepancies there, or has been in the past, but that they're also a U.S. citizen. So you do not need to check any of that as you're doing this. You do not need to ask people for any sort of papers, that sort of thing. Just ask them simply, did they get a ballot recently? That will help you identify, what exactly, kind of what their status is.
Yes.
As not just all those things I mentioned, but as an active voter in the state of Oregon. The other thing is, and this is a question that my mom, who is circulating petitions, she texted me in the middle of this call because she's actually out gathering signatures right now in the neighboring county, and she said, "Hey, do they have to be a resident of Josephine County? If I'm living in Josephine County, can they live in Jackson? Can I collect their signature?" And the answer is yes, as long as the person signing lives in the state of Oregon and is, again, an active registered voter. They can sign your petition regardless of who you are, where you're from, that sort of thing.
One clarification: we do have some people have reached out to us. They're currently, they might be long-term out of state, but they're still a registered voter in the state of Oregon. They can sign this petition. The most convenient way is to have them get an e-sheet, print it out, and mail it back to us.
Yep.
I have to jump in here just
Sure.
for a second. So I have to give kudos first to Nick for being the very first signer on the very first petition of this project. And second, kudos to his mom, because just a few minutes later, she had the first completed sheet. So I just need
I
to give
love
them
it.
a shout out to, they got this rocking and rolling.
Yeah,
Runs in
yeah.
the family.
I got the signature sheets from our printer down here, and she wanted to gather some signatures, and she came down and met me at my church, and she got my signature, and then gathered signatures from all the folks that were working in the church office this morning. So, yeah, she's on top of it. She's building lists. She's going, who do you know that could sign? All sorts of things. She
That's
convinced
great.
my grandmother, who to show you that this is like a bipartisan consensus. This is a nonpartisan effort, bipartisan consensus. She got my grandma, who is a registered Democrat, hardcore Democrat through and through, to sign this petition. So we are well on our way. This is again a bipartisan consensus on this is a bad idea. So bad idea, great petition. With that, I did see one question that I want to answer related to the church piece. Somebody asked, can they circulate at their church if their church is okay with it? Yeah, if your church is okay with it, if your pastor is okay with that, please do it. It's another way of getting Christians involved in political activities. I feel like there's a lot of people that are in churches these days that just don't actively participate because they don't bother to pay attention to what's going on. So we would love to have them sign if you're willing, if your church is willing, and if they're willing. So
we have some churches that have allowed us to circulate petitions there and talk about it. And then I mean, in my church, at the end of church, I'll be able to get my 50 signatures within about an hour, pretty easy. So I think a lot of people, that's a great place to go.
Yeah. I do want to ask, because we talked about the idea of not, you are not allowed to sign for anybody else or fill out any spot on that. But I did see a couple questions. I think this is important to address. People who are disabled and cannot fill out these for themselves. Is that too nitty gritty of a question, or do we have an answer to whether or not they can assist in?
You can assist someone to show them, to give them a guide of where the line is that they need to sign. But that's a really good question, Nick. And I was thinking as I put this together, I don't know the answer to that. But I'll tell you what, I'll find out. I'll find out.
Yeah.
Jody, do you know the answer to that?
I believe the answer to that is that the circulator cannot print anything for the signer, but a signer's spouse or family member can assist them in their printed name and their printed address. They can't assist them with the signature. But
I think
the
you're right, because
circulator cannot print that for the signer.
basically it's the same rule that would be if they were signing their ballot. It's probably the same thing,
That's
right?
correct.
That
That's
makes
correct.
sense.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. I see we do have 4 minutes left here. There are a ton of questions, so we will try to
Yeah.
get this
Anything that
covered.
we didn't cover, a lot of the questions that you just went through were covered in the video. Anything that you think wasn't covered? Yeah.
I don't think most of these that I'm seeing it's either back further or how about, are we allowed to help register folks? I see that one in there. So if
Absolutely.
people aren't registered to vote, can we assist them?
We can point them to the Oregon My Vote, and yes, and help them navigate that. We can't fill anything out for them, but to my knowledge.
The other one, do circulators need to have credentials with the referendum? The answer is no.
No,
volunteer.
The rules are much different for paid circulators. We're a volunteer machine here.
Another question I saw relates to age. The person signing, do they have to be 18 as they're signing?
They have to be voting age.
Mhm.
Yes.
So if they
Yeah.
they just turned 18, or if they turn 18 tomorrow, and you want to get them to sign, make sure that they're, one, turning 18, and two, that they are registered to vote. So it's a two-step ordeal there.
They have to be an active voter on the day they sign the petition.
Yeah. The other question that I saw related to age is, what's the age limit on people circulating the petition? Can someone that is 16 or 17 circulate to adults?
I believe you have to be 18 years old, but you do not have to be a registered voter in the state.
Great. So you got to be 18 and registered to sign. You got to be at least 18, don't necessarily need to be registered to vote to circulate. But that doesn't mean that if you have 16, 17-year-olds that want to help you be out there, that they can't sit in a booth with you, that sort of thing. They just cannot be the circulator witnessing the signature and
Yes.
signing that document
They,
at the very
they,
end of everything.
they can assist, but exactly right. They can't witness and they can't sign.
So, well, with that, I see we're at 6:59 here. So I want to give you guys, both you, Representative Deal, and Jody, just any last remarks, any last thoughts here before we sign off?
No, I just want to thank everybody again for signing up for this. It is we are going to make history in Oregon. This has not been done before. This is going to be, it's been an exciting ride so far. And I look forward to getting across the finish line with everybody here.
Yeah.
We're going to do it.
I just want to thank everyone for signing up and being so excited as they are. Bear with me and I will get your captain to you, and you'll be ready to rock and roll with petitions in your hand in the next couple of days.
Yeah. And same here. Please bear with me or send me angry emails. I really don't care. But bear with me if you can. We are working on transforming the notaxor.com website into a hub for finding where you can sign your petitions, or where circulators will be. So we will have that up within the next couple of days here. There's probably, like at this point, a few hundred locations that people are going to be gathering signatures. So it takes me a bit of time to go through that. But yeah, with that, I'm excited for our effort. I know that we've got almost 5,000 volunteers statewide. And I think we're really gonna make a statement with this. So
we're gonna rock it. You're gonna rock it, man.
Yeah, indeed. So thank you everyone for being on. And like I said, this will be posted publicly, notaxor.com/volunteers. Check it in the morning. Should be up. So thanks again. Have a good night.
Thank you, everyone.
Good night, everybody.